Patrick, I think this is a first from the convertible.
I think it is from the convertible live with the top down. Anyway, that's for
Nice.
sure. That's for sure. I was driving in today and got a little delayed and decided to take a longer route, and then I realized AJ was ready to roll. So that's okay. That's fine. So anyway, what's your view of our fighting twins here, Judley? What is going on? I guess good pitching can make up for a lot of sins, right?
Yes, good pitching and good outfield defense, I think, also helps. But yeah, the starting pitching's been fantastic.
Yeah, and when you have both Bader and Buxton in the field, then it's pretty good too. There's
Yep.
and the Wallner, of course, when Wallner plays, they're all three pretty outstanding. Larnick's not bad. He doesn't butcher too many, and so. And getting Castro back, that doesn't hurt either. You can move him around, getting Castro, and now we'll see if Royce getting a hit is actually going to get him started a little bit. I really think it's a mystery what we have with Royce, don't you?
Yeah, it's a mystery, but I'm curious. Here's my question: can he stay healthy long enough? Because, he missed time last year, took part in spring training, got hurt, was out
Yeah.
again. I feel like we need to see an extended period before we can pass judgment.
Yes, I mean the first early glimpses were so sensational, and the home runs and the grand slams and all that we might have got a distorted view of what a good player he is, and then he was so bad at the end last year, we might have got a distorted opinion the other way. So I think it's up in the air as to what kind of player he is. I just have this perception looking at him that he has gone. Last year, to me, he was muscled up almost freakishly. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's no difference in him. But to me, it looks like he kind of went for mobility and agility during this rehab rather than getting all the muscles and trying to be a home run hitter. Doesn't he? Does he look a little leaner to you? I'm
Maybe,
I'm
yeah, a
not sure.
little bit.
I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but I think he should be a player that can steal a base and yeah, and has agility and moves around. Not the muscle bound guy that he was last year. So we'll find out though. But they obviously think there's something there because what was 0 for 36 and Rocco kept running him out there. So
Yep,
anyway,
yep.
he's it'll be interesting if that Keishel ever gets healthy. Who's out then? Because that kid can hit. You might have yourself a full time DH then. So we'll
Hmm.
we'll we'll see. But the pitching is. I was wondering. You got three starters that are in the top. How many of total American League starters? 25, 20, 25. You got three starters that are pretty elite, for want of a better word. Wouldn't
Hmm.
you say? Ober,
Yeah.
Ryan, and obviously Pablo.
Yep.
So that's you don't start from there that often with a low budget team, and it's some of these guys are going to have to get paid pretty soon, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
Ober's going to have to get paid. Joe
Ryan.
Ryan's going to have to get paid. They're gonna. It'll be interesting to see.
So, are you buying this then, or what's your opinion
No,
of this
I
team?
still am not. I don't like the lineup that well. I'm still not that excited about the lineup. But I think I've liked the pitching from the start, but I like it better now than I thought I was going to. And the fact that you have two, if, in case Woods Richardson, goes belly up or somebody gets hurt, you do have two guys in St. Paul too that you got some confidence in. Zebby Matthews isn't exactly pitching late into games, but his numbers are pretty phenomenal. And Festa looked like he belonged when he was here. So
Hmm.
it's so the starters. Listen, the difference between 2022 and 2023 was the number of innings you got out of your starting pitchers, right? Wasn't it 22 when they had Chris Archer in the rotation, and
Yeah.
they were like
Dylan
they were like
Bundy.
27th in the league in innings pitched for starters, or 26th, and the next year they were fourth. You'd lot rather be fourth than 26th, but I mean, there's really and Kalum, I can never pronounce his name. God, what do we call him? Danny Kalum. He hadn't given up a
Colum.
run, right?
No, he's been fantastic.
When they signed him, I said, what? Why are you excited to bring this guy back? He's coming off a bad arm. He's their
Great.
only left. He's their only lefty, but he's been phenomenal. So I was shocked to read. I guess I read it. I might have heard it that this is only their second 6-0 homestand at Target Field.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
What,
And the other,
23, right?
yeah, the other one was in 23. But that's I never realized that. Of course, when you go back to Target Field, we had the master plan of how great Target Field was going to be. We weren't going to discount any tickets. I've heard about meetings where the staff said, we're not discounting tickets after 2010. You know, they had a great team. They drew 3.2 or 3 million. And and they thought that, okay, this will be 5, 6 years of absolute gravy train, right?
Right.
And the next year they drew three again, tickets sold, but they went, they finished the season 19-50, lost 99 games, celebrated, and the momentum for Target Field disappeared incredibly fast because those 4 years were awful. 15 was okay. And then 16, they lost more games than they ever lost in their history. So basically that kind of ruined the magic of Target Field, to say the least.
Yeah, that's an incredible because you're right. It should have been 5 to 6 years of sold out, no more
Yes,
papering the house, none
yes,
of
right.
this, and it instantly turned. And what I'm curious here, Patrick, is this: if they continue to play well, at what point do they really get the fans back? I mean, they had some decent crowds,
Yes,
but
right.
I'm saying at what point, like, what do they have to do to get the public back?
Well, the nicest weather weekend of all time with the Giants in town, who are an attraction,
Yep.
and they're in the low 20s, and they're saying, boy, it's a good crowd here. That's, what do they have to do? I don't, they got to be, they have to be almost as good as they were last summer, wouldn't you say, to get people fired up again? Because remember, out of nowhere, they were good. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, this isn't like genius, but they were good for 3.5 months, like, out of nowhere. And I still like that team last year better than this one, but uh, I guess they have to do that. But I don't know. I don't think you're embarrassed to say you went to a ball Twins game now, right now, as you had to be 2, 3 weeks ago. It'll be interesting. Hey, one other baseball thing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like the clown show umpiring crew that they had this weekend? Unbelievable.
Terrible.
Adrian Johnson's been one of the worst umpires in the major leagues for years, and now he's a crew chief.
I
You
know.
know, and when he threw Rocco out on Saturday, according to umpire auditing, he
Yeah.
had the worst game that any plate umpire has had this season,
Yep.
83%. And and when Rocco got thrown out, according to this thing, he'd missed by then. That's the middle of the game. He'd missed 17 pitches, 13 of them against the Twins. So Rocco wasn't wrong to go
No.
screaming at him. But he's a bad umpire who's how he became a crew chief. I have no idea. But the worst, and then of course the thing with Walcott yesterday was like, what's this?
Right.
That he said that it was a pitch clock violation, but he wasn't ready or something, and Rocco yelled at him for 2 minutes, and he was so embarrassed by it he didn't throw him out. And then finally, the best part is you could have we had audio, but you don't get to hear audio of an argument too much. You didn't get clear audio,
It was good.
but finally at the end, Rocco just throws an F bomb and walks back into the bullpen. I mean, into the dugout. But but the worst was the guy at first base, Dela Cruz, I think his name is, says it was a I don't know. Against the Giants. It was a check swing, and he called it a strike, right? On
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Giants,
So Melvin got
and
tossed.
Bob Melvin raises his arms in the dugout, and the guy throws him out. He from 150 feet
Yep.
away, he
Yep.
throws him out of the game because the guy said, he raises his arms. What is going on with these uh, jackasses? You know that they now want to throw. They're
Well,
probably mad at the union, mad at a few other things, mad at management, but you can't be this sensitive. What is going on?
they they are, unfortunately for you, they are expediting the implementation of the electronic strike zone or the challenge. That's what they're
Yeah.
doing. This
Yes.
is going to get you closer, not farther away.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about the sensitivity.
I
If
don't know.
somebody
Yeah.
barks from the dugout on a strike call, they
Yeah.
turn around and stare and look at him. What? I don't know why, unless you hear profanities aimed at you, it's not okay to scream in the dugout about a call. I don't understand what the problem is. I
Yep.
mean, for 100 years, you had to go out there and get in somebody's face to get thrown out of the game, right? And
Or drop
now,
an F bomb from the dugout. Like,
sure, yeah,
if
but
you
now
MF a
it's
guy from
just
the dugout. Yeah.
somebody goes, oh my God, and he gets thrown out of the game. What do you want? Universal agreement? Meanwhile,
Rocco
NFL coaches, they do everything but put them in a headlock and throw them on the ground on the sidelines, and nothing ever happens. It's unbelievable what they let them get away with.
Rocco got his money's worth on Saturday though. That
Yeah, he
was he got
did.
a lot of F bombs in.
He did because he knew he was righteous. He knew.
Right.
I mean, they got all the numbers at their ready of how many pitches the guy's already missed, and he was he he finally went. Man, I mean, because he started telling him how many he what three
No,
straight
he said
hitters,
four. He said that's four
four
straight guys. He gave him the
four
Aaron Boone.
four straight hitters. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, Adrian's must be a likable guy or something because he didn't throw a temper tantrum or anything, temper tantrum, but uh, you know, he's incompetent. He's always been a bad player. I mean, just noticing when he was behind the plate, he's a bad plate umpire, and
Oh God, yeah.
now all of a sudden he's a crew chief. They've lost a lot of umpires, that's sure, but the only thing missing from that group this weekend was Hunter Wendelstedt. If you could have had Hunter with that crew, then you would have had the most
He back
competent.
yet? He took
I don't know. He got hurt, right? He
that
got
foul
hurt.
ball here. Day
Yeah.
game at Target
Oh,
Field. He got drilled.
yeah, he did. He's probably not back. I think Hunter will take all his time. That's for sure. Hunter would have never made the guys. An old umpire who shall go nameless told me that every umpiring school Hunter was in, his father Harry would tell him how great he did, and everybody else said he missed more calls than anybody in history, even in umpire school. And the old man got him to the big leagues at age 26.
Wow.
Yeah,
The old man was good.
oh,
Harry was
Harry was,
good.
yeah, but those guys, they didn't have vacations either. They had like, uh, okay, it's a 10-team league back in the day when they started. I mean, when they went up to 10 teams. So each league had five crews. They probably had 22 umpires total once because they'd bring a couple of guys up for the minors if somebody got hurt, but that was it. They didn't have these vacations or anything like that. They just umpired all games, and they love, but most of them love to argue. I mean, we've seen it with the Earl Weaver, Bill Haller tape and stuff like that. We'll never get to see that again because he'd get fined
That's the
$100,000.
greatest stuff. You're here to F us.
Yeah,
That's a lie, Earl.
oh,
No, you're here to F us.
the best line of that is Earl tells him he's going to be a Hall of Fame
Yeah.
umpire. And Haller says, "What, for bleeping up a World
World
Series?"
Series game.
I wonder how they got audio of that. Who had the microphone on him?
I don't know because
The
I mean
umpire.
at that time, at that point in time, it wasn't done like for quick
No,
transition sounds of the game. We didn't do sounds of the game
no,
back then.
no. They must have had Earl mic'd or
But
something. Huh?
between the Earl stuff and the Lasorda stuff,
Oh yeah,
when he goes out and
sort of.
talks to Doug Rau, I just saw that during
Yeah,
the '77 World Series. I don't give a bleep if you feel good. He
yeah.
said, he said, Tommy, I feel good. He said, I don't give a bleep if you feel good.
We've always given Birdsey credit for the greatest tirade ever, and it's up there. But Lasorda talking about Kurt Bavacqua is pretty well impossible to beat, considering if you were a manager and said that about an opposing player now and they had it at microphone, what would they do to you? Like suspend you for a week or
Oh,
something?
God. But the best part is he was right about Bavacqua.
Yeah,
I
right.
used to send a limousine for bleeping guys like that to go pick them up to make sure they got to the ballpark.
The stuff with him and Petey Guerrero that they tell stories about are
Oh, God.
unbelievable. They're unbelievable. I mean, Lasorda was one of the most profane human beings.
Foul.
Good old Tommy. He was a thin-skinned, egomaniacal, you know. But it is amazing. He was a pitcher in their system for a long time. He was their manager for what 25 years, but or not maybe not 25, but I think he was in his 50s when he got the job or something. I mean, he'd kicked around in their organization for a long time.
76 ish, right? Because
Yeah,
Alston resigned or stepped
yeah.
down around then. Oh, yeah. Tommy was.
They were the Dodgers back then were the Pittsburgh Steelers of sports. You manage as long as you want to, and then they put somebody else in the job, and he managed as long as they took the responsibility for their roster, which a lot of people don't do.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Woofies. Game 4 tonight.
Game
Golden
game
State.
four
What do you
tonight.
think?
I think let's concede here that we shouldn't be grumbling about the quality of play in game three, the fact they came back and won. And I think this series has become a testament to discovering that, yes, Steve Kerr's a hell of a coach because he has managed to turn it ugly, 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 which now it was ugly the first night because, you know, the Timberwolves were awful. But Steph got hurt. But since Steph got hurt, he knows that's his only way.
Yep.
That make it a rough series. And if you make it a rough series, the officials are pretty much going to let it be a rough series, right? If the
Mm-hmm.
if both teams are grinding and hitting and banging into each other in the playoffs, they let them get away with that. So the Warriors are doing what they have to do to have a chance without Steph, and so it's not aesthetically pleasing like those Laker games were,
No,
right? I mean,
it's
game
not fun. Yeah.
game 3 and 4 at Target Center were two of the best basketball games I've ever seen in my life, and and it was there was some defense, but not like this is. This is brutal, and even without Steph, they play defense. They get in front of you, and Jimmy Butler is not an aesthetically pleasing basketball player. He's a defender and a and a the basketball version of a thug that when he plays. I mean, he's a 6'6" guard, and he bangs into people and guards
Yeah.
people, and
So
he
Draymond
kept
has to play too.
yeah, and he kept them in there, but what he petered out, started missing shots. But I thought it was. Let's face it, they got to do the same thing tonight because you don't want to come home 2-2. You wanna come home with a chance to end them. I don't think there's much chance Steph's going to play at all, but the idea that he could play Game 6 has got to be hanging over your head tonight. So
But you're right. The first thing is immediately after game 3, there was this grumbling about the Wolves should have won by 20. They should have won by more. Just take the victory.
yes,
Like, we don't have a men's title to speak of in this town since
no,
91. So let's
yes,
not get hung up on the style points if they didn't win by enough points.
yes, that is absolutely. Let's remember that the recent elimination of the Lakers was the fifth series win all time for a
Yeah.
franchise in its 35th season. And we can't be dismissing series wins because they weren't pretty. NBA basketball is great, but it's not pretty. It's and certainly not pretty at this
Playoffs
time
aren't.
of year.
Yeah. And playoffs especially aren't. But yeah, Finch, to your point, Finch just passed Flip for playoff victories by a Wolves coach. I think he's at 18, Flip was at 17.
Yeah, that's yeah, and it's not exactly a long tenure that he's had. So yeah, I'm anytime you get one, be happy for it. Although I actually didn't go to game 2, I was watching on TV. You were there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Crowd
I
was
was.
a little melancholy even through that. I
Well,
mean, we talked about it the other day, but they were even in the second quarter when things were looking okay. They were not pumped up like they had been. That game 1 was dispiriting to say the least.
it was, and plus, I think Pat, because the style is the style, it's grinded out, and the best part is this: the Julius trade looks smarter than ever now because Julius fits this style almost perfectly.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's I think he's going to get very costly. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think that we might have to say goodbye to Nas, don't you? To stay out of the second apron again,
It
I would think.
well, both are going to opt out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
both have
I
player
mean, maybe
options.
Randall gets to a point you can't bring him back, but I know one thing: they don't want to get into the second apron. Look
Yeah,
at how would you like to be the Warriors right now? They're on the hook for Jimmy. I mean, it was fun to get Jimmy. They had a nice little run here. They're trying to do it without Steph. But if they get knocked out here in 5 games and they're on the hook for 2 more years at 56 for him, you are not gonna you are not gonna like that contract before it's over because they got to be in super duper apron of all time, right? There's nothing they're going to be able to do, right? So
and they're just
no.
old too.
The
Like
other
the
thing, the other thing as we give a lot of credit to the Warriors as an organization, they did draft James Wiseman second, right?
yes,
And right
yes.
after Anthony Edwards, and what he played 15 games in the NBA or something like that. Hurt terrible when he played.
There were Wolves fans that wanted the Wolves to take Wiseman, not Ant.
Yes, well, that was
Gerson, you know what? Whatever he did personally,
yes,
he
yes,
deserves a lot of credit.
yeah, for making the
Yep.
right draft choice. That's for sure. And Ant, after he looked like he got shot and laid down and rolled around, he's had a tough time. It hasn't come easy for him, but he kept competing and he had a good game. He finally had a good game in game 3
Yeah.
and late in the second half. His first half, second half numbers are phenomenal, though, aren't they? I mean, it's like you wonder what's going through his mind in the first half. It's like he's trying to figure out. Either he's the most unselfish guy trying to get other people involved, or he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah. The Strip had a story today though that pointed out that they worked hard in the second half in game 3 to get him
Yes,
more looks, took him off the ball and things. I think part of the Ant thing is we probably don't appreciate, to what you were saying, how well the Warriors play defense.
yes,
And so I think that derails him at times. And then Finch, he can't just adjust himself. So I think there's a lot of things, basketball things here, that we probably don't identify that become problems. or
You
issued.
know, it's been written, but and it could change in the years ahead here because you're going to give him another contract. He's not going anywhere. So, but
Yeah.
the fact that Finch, who's not exactly, I mean, he's an established coach here, but not exactly an established coach, NBA coach, feels that Edwards is a guy that he can basically call out after game two, and the guy's still going to come back and present and compete as hard as he wants to. That's not that's not 100% with the NBA. There's no league with more
No.
egos, more runaway egos than there is in the NBA. And a lot of guys, young guys, come into the league. They're these immature people. Now, I don't think it'd be hard to be more immature in your personal life than Ant is, but he transfers that into a. He's like Moss, isn't he? I mean, he's a football savant, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
He
he
he's a
does
happier
it.
person. Like
Yeah,
Moss hated the media and he didn't really like
outsiders. Yes,
adults. But yes, he definitely has a sports IQ that's incredibly
yes,
high.
yeah. I mean, there's a big difference between those two things. I
Oh God,
always
yeah.
go back to the John Hanson, the old Osseo football coach, and I've used this 50 times. He's long retired. I'm standing on the sideline with him, and we see this Bridge Tussler, who was a superstar for their state champion team, and he makes some crazy play. And John Hanson says to me, "That kid's an athlete." And I said, "Yeah." He says, "You know what makes an athlete?" And I said, "Tell me." And he says, "When their mind tells them to do something, they can do it."
That's
You
100%
know,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
cuz
it's
I've met
very
some really
simple.
stupid people that are really
Yeah.
smart athletes.
Yes, I guess that's what we're getting to here.
Yeah,
It's just,
that's
that is the case.
spot
Is
on.
athletically is, but the NBA is probably. I mean, you go back to Bird and Magic and that whole era, sure, but it's about as much fun as I've seen it in years because you're not quite sure what's going to happen. I mean, and now Cleveland's got injury problems, but Indiana beat them as bad as they wanted to. Indiana's gonna win that series, aren't they?
It sure looks like it.
Yeah, I mean they're
3-1
good.
and Boston came back and officially blew the drawers off the Knicks
Yes, and they're going to
in
beat
game
them
3.
again. I still think Boston's going to win that series. I don't.
They're
That
favorites
Nick
still.
team is, Brunson is, he's worn out, man. He's had the ball for 40 minutes for 82 games.
Yep.
He's he's worn out. I still think the Knicks can go, but it's interesting. Boston, 2 games in New York, they missed their threes. The other night they made them all. So it
Yep.
depends. It depends, but
Hey,
it's been fun.
last thing. Have you gotten past your case of Messi fever that swept the Twin Cities
Yes,
over
it
the
did.
weekend?
The number of people I see on various outlets saying they got to see a Messi goal, so now they're happy for life. It's a sport where a guy scores one goal and you remember it for the rest of your life. I guess that's the way it is. But yeah, I didn't really have to. When Pele came to town, I wasn't there. I was covering the Twins, but I would have, if not, if I didn't have to fight my way through 50,000 teenage drunks, I would have liked to seen him. But Lionel Messi, I don't wake up and I'm saying, how'd Miami do? Did Messi get a goal? So, but hey, you can't knock it. They're playing good and they fill that damn place every day.
Oh
So
yeah,
every
yeah,
time they
yeah.
play. But right here, did Jonathan Harrison cry when he saw
I'll
Messi
text
score a
him and
goal
find out. I don't know.
on the air? He might have cried to see a Messi goal.
I
So
don't know. I don't know. But I do know that my Star Tribune was filled with Messi for 2 or 3 days.
Marthaler is unbelievable. I don't know what we're paying him, but it's not enough.
Has a
He,
freelancer ever won Employee of the Year?
no, I don't think
Because
he has.
Marthaler's in the running.
Yes, it is. It's unbelievable. And I hope that it's producing more readers because it wasn't doing very well a couple of years ago. That's for sure. So anyway,
Hey, last thing now. Sell me a car.
I would love to say. Look at it now. I hate to tell you this, but the Buick doesn't have the Cascade convertible anymore. This is a 2019. It's from the last year, and when you look up, you see that right. And this, it's fantastic on a
Look
summer
at
day.
that.
But that doesn't mean Jim Paul and Brett Paul Valley Group GM dealers don't have very nice used car convertibles out there for you if that would be you're looking for that summer vehicle. But mostly what you want, America wants right now are SUVs, and Buick has a great variety of SUVs. At Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers right now, the inventory is high, the interest rates are very low, there are factory rebates. They have SUVs in 3 or 4 different sizes, so you can get the smaller one, you can get the big honker that if you got 3 kids, you got to take to hockey practice. So again, highly enough. Apple Valley, Valley Group of GM dealers. Go to the Valley Group of GM dealers website and check out the inventory. There's a vehicle there for you.
All right, Patrick. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah.
See ya.